We'll get underway here and have our work session. Our regular scheduled council meeting will begin at 6:30. At this time, we have Mr. Head representing Ellis Law Firm. So our regular Brian is out tonight. So is there anything that you had to follow up with us? Yeah, Brian?
No, the only thing he told me is that one of the things I think was maybe a lease that he had not yet prepared. That was.
He's working on that
Yes.
for us, so
Yeah.
I think kind of put that on the next agenda. So
But I think that was the only thing that he mentioned to me that wasn't, to be addressed tonight. That he had on the agenda.
Stacy, got anything? Allison?
No, sir. No, sir.
Kelly?
Yes, sir, we just have one item on the agenda. It's the transport agreement with RPS ambulance.
Chief?
Yeah, I got a couple things. This past weekend, you may have noticed we hosted the Explorer competition. That's the second year Calera has been the host. And the high school allowed us to use their facility again, which was great. And hopefully we're going to keep it here in Calera, but it's a three-state competition. It's explorers and cadets from Alabama, Georgia, and Florida that compete. And last year we had a lot of hardware. Our guys did really well. They did well this year, but we've got a young explorer group. We have 9 kids now, and this is a good thing. Even though we struggled a little bit, they won a third-place trophy, but in past years, some of our superstar explorer kids have moved on and they have jobs in law enforcement, including one that's working here for us. So we're proud of that. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, the kids are supposed to progress through the program. It's ages 14 to 21. When they get closer to 21, if they get a career and they still want to go into law enforcement or whatever, they move on. We lose our best kids. It's kind of like recruiting in football. You got a really good senior class, and now we got very good young people. 9 is great because I think we have about the same amount of explorers that Hoover has, with a much larger city and larger department. So I'm very proud of what our guys do with the Explorer program and the leadership role that we take in the Explorer program for all 3 states. Kevin Brand ran that competition along with Lieutenant Grant and our folks, and we host it, and that's great for Calera, I think. I think it's a really good thing. And our kids are just going to get better. Got a great young group. I invite you anytime you want to come see them. We meet at Tuesdays at 4 p.m., every Tuesday at 4 p.m. We have a Student of the Month program. I don't know if you've seen those posts that we do, but in all 4 of our schools, our SROs through the CASE program, they recognize first week it's one of the schools, the second week it's another. With all 4 weeks, we have 2 Students of the Month in each school. And the Student of the Month gets those awards when they're recognized for maybe sticking up for somebody who's being bullied, showing leadership skills, or really demonstrating any of the things that we teach them through our CASE program. If we see that, we recognize those kids. We have some things we give them. We have a backpack with CASE on it that we give the kids, but we also publicize it. We take their picture and we post it, and we share it on all of our different social media pages, and we're real proud of them. We've got 17 kids so far. I guess one had one instead of two 1 month because, 17 is not divisible by 2. But we've had 17 kids so far this year that we've recognized, and I'm thinking maybe by the end of the year we'll recognize all the kids. But that's been a really positive thing that our case people came up with. And that continues, that program continues to grow. And I mentioned this to you before. I think last time I mentioned to you, a neighboring county had reached out and asked about how we do our program and how we implemented it and all the different things we do. Well, we've had a second county now contact us, their school system and their law enforcement, and ask what we're doing, how we're doing it. So I think we're doing some good things here. And again, I love for us to be leader of the pack, and I love it when other people want to emulate what we're doing. I mean, it shows that we're doing good things. And, it's not just our department, it's a lot of different departments in the city. But for a city our size to do things like that, and I appreciate you guys working with us on the opioid funding for CASE. We're going to talk about that a little later, but I can't think of a better way to spend that money than on our kids, because it's such a scary time with all the drugs and violence that we see in schools all over the country. It's something we really need to stay ahead of. And, we've quadrupled the size of our SRO staff in the past 5 years. And, you guys have allowed us to do that, and we appreciate that. But I don't think there's anything more important that we do than make sure our kids are safe. That's all I got.
So,
Yes, a couple things. One, the shade cloth is going up at Eagle Park. We'll probably lack maybe a week and a half, and that project will be done. That's at the Five-Field Complex, the shade at one of the bleachers. They look really nice. It's going to be a real nice addition. It's already had a lot of positive feedback on the fact that it's happening. Concrete is also being poured at Oliver. That's looking really nice. Going to have plenty of green space. We'll add some trees and shrubs and grasses down there, so that'll be a very nice addition as well. I got a lot of positive feedback on that. A lot of people call me happy to see that's happening. And then also, Ms. Debbie, we've got the lights ordered and a wire for the nature trail. Robert got all that ordered. Probably next week, hopefully we'll get equipment. It'll probably take us a couple weeks to clean the nature trail, take down some more dead trees, line up a brush truck stuff. But once we get that, then we can run the wire, and then hopefully that project will start getting going. Just keep an idea where we are on that one. And then when y'all get a moment, I sent y'all an email. Just let me know what you're thinking one way or the other whenever you get a moment. And that's it.
Kevin,
Just the annexation on the agenda.
Bill,
Yeah, I had the late agenda item. That's just a standard maintenance agreement with Aldott that we have for all of our signals. That's for the new one that's going to be at 70 and 42. Got to have that before I can send it out for bid. So as soon as I get that agreement back, get it to Aldott, they'll allow us to post that for bidding. Trying to have a meeting scheduled for, I think we're looking for Thursday to meet with Aldott Region about the signal at 16 and 31. Between city, Aldott, our transportation engineer, what kind of plan we could come up with on the inside, 31 inside lanes, when if the signal's implemented, how we would treat those, what kind of striping plan we'd have. I think that's it.
Reggie,
All everything, sir.
we'll go down the council road and start with Ms. Kay.
Thank you. Bill, would you repeat that again about 16 and 31?
So we're trying to get a meeting scheduled with the region engineer. Thursday seems to be a pretty good day for them, so we're gonna try to sit down and meet with them. We'll have our transportation engineer there, and we're trying to come, I think their concern, I know their concern is inside 31 North Lane. So if you remember, you said, doesn't it warrant a signal? It warrants several things. The signal will help left turns off of 16, but it could hurt left turns off of 31. So, and there's a couple of options there of what you can do. You can do a combo lane, you can dedicate left, you could do nothing, leave it straight through, which I don't think they're probably a big fan on based off of the numbers, the counts. So, hopefully we can sit down with them and hammer out a plan on what they want that to look like, what they want the timing to look like, what they want the striping to look like. You know, we're kind of limited on options, but there are a couple of options on the table. So hopefully we leave there Thursday with a plan for that.
Oh, that's really good news. And this is great news for 7042. I appreciate all the hard work you put in to get this accomplished. That is needed so bad.
Hopefully to go to bid, well, I hope it goes to bid before the end of the month. So it'll be awarded sometime before the end of March. And then we'll go, you know, we'll get timelines and stuff from that once we get the award.
Okay, that's, like I said, great news. Just one other thing, we need lights so bad at exit 234, you know, the airport exit in the roundabout adjacent to the exit. It's so dangerous at nighttime.
So there is a plan for that that is section 2 of the I-65 widening project. That interchange is going to be reworked quite a bit. So there are plans for lighting in that project. They're working with the airport now on where they can put the lighting. Obviously, there's flight patterns and flight paths close there, so talk to the county engineer. They're the ones that are kind of taking the lead on that section of the I-65 widening. So he said there are plans to try to get some lighting in that area with that interchange improvements.
So is that's gonna be a while though, right?
No, they're, ours is bid, and I think the north section bids in April, and I think that one's gonna bid somewhere around May. They're all gonna bid pretty close together. Now, that's one of the reasons AlDOT, the region office, has been so busy. They've been focused on that widening project pretty heavily over the last few months to try to get it out the door. So no, it's going to be as fast as a transportation project can be. It's going to be as fast as they can move it.
Good news. Well, thank you for that information. That's all I have.
All right, Debbie?
Oh, Seth, thank you so much. I'm so excited about the nature trail lighting. That was a great update. I was out by the park today, and I could see that there's a lot of activity going on out in the park. So, Bill, I just have a couple questions for you. The TAP grant that we talked about at the last council meeting, it was like 78% in that design. Now, we got that grant in fall of 2023.
Okay.
Okay, so if we don't start work in 2
No.
years, will it get rescinded, or do we file an extension
No,
or what?
I have to have it, you have to have it submitted by March 15th, design submitted by March 15th. And like, we should have it wrapped up. We met with Alabama Power, I don't know if it was Wednesday or Thursday this week, to finalize some of their stuff. We should have it submitted here in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so we will hit that deadline for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, no problem with that.
The other thing that I have is, do we have the reflective paint that you paint the curves in stock? Do we have it at the shop?
Yeah, we do. The reason we haven't done the curbing yet has just been weather. You know, from the last council meetings, they were going to try to get it done today. I don't know if they got out there this afternoon. If not, they will get it this week, now that we got some decent weather. But, you know, from the last time you'd mentioned it, I think we had snow, rain.
We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of everything, but no, they've got that on their plate. And to that, I went ahead and got him to meet with Alabama Power on, I forgot what day it was, last Tuesday, to see about adding 2 more lights at the intersection of, I believe it's 304, that goes between Zaxby's and Milo's, to try to light up that intersection too. So that'll add some more lighting down that road and at that intersection. So that'll help a little bit on that.
Yeah, that would help a great deal.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about lighting, on the I-65 widening project, will it have any additional lighting or lights put up at the 228
No.
exit?
No, that's not in that plan, no, not in that project.
So I know that's been talked for many years about adding some light there. Is there anything that we can do to move forward with that?
Just money.
Money from the city?
Because right now, you don't qualify, you have an open A-Trip grant, so you can't apply for another one. So there's not really an avenue to grant-wise to go after that type of money. You're probably gonna be a couple of years before the HREP grant that you have, before you close it out. So, right now, that's the only other program out there. That's the only program avenue for that, unless you self-fund it.
Okay, I guess I'm a little bit confused. How long have we had the HREP grant?
You've had the HREP grant, maybe, it started before me, so at least 2 years. At least 2 years, but if you remember, so that's another one. We submitted the grant, and our plan was, we submitted a plan, the Region AlDOT office revised that plan, and that caused, and part of that plan was completely shutting down County Road 310, access from 25.
Right.
All right, that didn't seem to go over so well, so we applied for a supplement to that grant in November to reroute 310. Those decisions, whether we got the supplement or not, I should hear on that in the next couple of weeks. So we've had the grant, we just hadn't been able to do anything with it. So I should hear in a couple of weeks what if we get that supplemental, then we can move into the other phase of it. We'll have to do some right-of-way acquisition and finalize design and all that.
Is there a timeframe on this grant that has?
They paused it because that was totally in their hands. They're the ones who made that call. We didn't make that call.
Okay,
We did not make that call.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have now.
All right, Kenny?
Yes, I've had a few complaints on the dog leash ordinance. So, the way I've been reading this ordinance is, the police department is where they're supposed to do the paperwork. And then all the dogs should be on the leash or restraint. Excessive barking is part of my ordinance. So the police is supposed to monitor that. So, right?
That's our only mechanism for enforcement of ordinances.
So after the police investigates the complaint, then what happens after that?
You're talking about, like a dog,
Dogs not on the leash, just running out in the streets trying to bite kids and bite
well,
dogs.
it's two different things. If we have an aggressive dog, we absolutely go and deal with that. Just a dog, a loose dog, typically we call and the Bill's shop, and they have somebody that's there during the day that's trained and equipped. I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, Bill, but I believe has equipment and can pick a dog up. Or we also will call Shelby County Animal Control. We don't have a dog catcher, or we don't have officers that are trained or equipped to be dog catchers. But if we have an attack, a dog attacks or a vicious dog, we will go out, we'll make a report. We've charged people for that in the past. We've also made cases for neglect. Now, that's hard. That's very hard. Alabama does, we're one of the few departments that made a felony case on somebody for animal neglect, but that's very hard to prove. But we have cited people for that as well. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Now,
I think the public was confused about where they supposed to take their complaints.
we're perfectly happy getting the calls, because I think, Bill, your person's gone at 2 in the afternoon?
2:30.
2:30.
An important thing to remember, like if somebody complains about a dog, and we come up to get the dog, and you come out of the house and say, hey, that's my dog, we can't take the dog. Because that dog is personal property. We don't have any right to confiscate personal property. If anybody claims the dog while we're there, we're kind of out of it at that point.
A lot of citizens don't understand either that a violation of an ordinance or a misdemeanor, if they just tell us, I get this all the time, somebody will say, well, that dog is vicious, it growls at me. Well, we go out there, the dog's not out, it's put up, or we see the dog and it's It's being, it's not being aggressive. We can't do anything if we don't witness it. Just because then you could call anytime you're mad at somebody and say, hey, their dog, attacked me. And then, you go and you enforce it. It has to be something we see or, multiple people see, that kind of thing. So we run into that a lot, and people aren't happy about it. It's not, obviously not a high priority for us dealing with dogs, because often we don't have, it may be a long time before we can send somebody to go, unless it's a dangerous situation. We do get calls where, parents are afraid the dog's gonna bite a kid or something like that, a vicious dog. We do respond to those. A lot of times we get there, we can't find the dog. It's a big drain, and people aren't happy. I get complaints about it all the time too. When people complain, if they call me, email, or come to the office, I explain it to them. Usually, once they understand it a little better, it helps, most of the time.
That's all we got, Mayor.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is more Bill or Kelly. Maybe either one of you can kind of elaborate on it. As far as what we have noticed and seen in the news lately, dealing with federal grants or federal money, do you guys foresee, or is it affecting us in any kind of way?
I've had conversations with Kara, our grant writer, and she, when it first came out, the announcement last week, she contacted us to kind of talk through it. Now, what came out over the weekend on Sunday is that, I think several of us got it, that, I don't know the legal word, but the stop of the grants, a judge has filed something and the grants will continue on, is my understanding. So something was released Sunday, and I haven't talked to Kara today. So she did say if that stayed in place, it could affect the railroad grant flyover, because we're actively working that. We had a meeting with them a week ago, and it was a very productive meeting. And then that announcement was made about the hold on all grants, and she said that could impact it. But, everything it's in the courts, and so I think a judge has said that federal grants can't be stopped. So I think it's all much higher than us being fought out, but that's where we are.
Is that the only grant that would be affected?
No, we have a lot of federal grants. I think it would also impact, I'm most concerned, it would impact even our SRF loans, even though it's a loan. We submit those invoices to ADM, and they write the check and send it to us, and then we pay the vendors. So I had a concern that if that stopped, we wouldn't pay the vendors that's already done the work. So I think that's all being fought out in court. So hopefully that will not delay us getting our payments to pay our vendors.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
Alan,
I don't have anything to say, John.
Ernest?
Yes, I'd like to have a little comment on 2025-04, that agreement. And Mayor, maybe you can, I'm sure Brian, the city attorney had looked at that agreement and everything is good on that contract.
Yeah, that's for RPS services to cover the city of Calera and surrounding jurisdiction area with paramedic ambulance service. Gonna answer any details, Chief.
So the contract is for them to provide one 24-hour truck, 365 days a year, that's staffed with, it's an advanced life support paramedic truck, and that truck would be solely dedicated to the city of Calera. And then the terms are in the contract.
And I was reading a little into that contract, pretty lengthy contract, but, and we've been asked, the mayor, we've been asked to sign this for a 3-year term, that's correct? And we're talking, roughly $1.75 million in 3 years. There was not a clause in it talking about, I saw where it mentioned the rental of the station that you have now, number one. But that wasn't, is the amount of the rent, is that public record?
So we have that lease agreement in process, and it should be ready next council meeting. And that will be a separate agreement. So basically, we'll have the the contract for the ambulance, and then there'll be a lease of the building, which are two separate agreements.
So that, those numbers will appear in the.
Yes.
What you all would be worked out in that agreement after the attorney looks that over.
Yes, sir, that's correct. So we should have that next council meeting.
I have a rough copy of it here, we just didn't have it all finalized with Brian to get it on this agenda, but it's two separate agreements.
So are we gonna vote on that? I mean, vote on that and approving that? Would it have any effect on that?
No, sir. No.
Well,
It's two separate agreements.
Okay.
And then final on that, also on 04, there was something I was reading, I didn't understand. No, largest, I didn't understand it. There was that paragraph that talked about the split price that the city would pay and RPS would pay concerning the usage of the vehicles. Our people would not be, your people, should I say, would not be driving into those.
No, that's correct. So the way it would work is RPS employees would staff the truck. They would be responsible for transporting the patient to the hospital or to a landing zone if it was a medevac patient. Now, on several times a month, if we have a severe patient, then we will send one of our paramedics as a ride-along just to help render care to the patient. So that will continue, but there's nothing contractual with that. That's just on an as-needed basis, and we're not reimbursed for that, or we don't pay any money to RPS when that happens. So the agreement is for the transport of the patient to the medical facility, and then RPS handles the billing from that point.
So then that paragraph that talked about the RPS paying a certain amount of the transportation insurance, and the city is responsible for a certain amount of insurance, that's for if our people are on it.
That's just to cover the liability insurance on our
Okay,
employees,
liability,
yes.
okay, we will have to cover that, the city will have to cover that.
But we already do that.
Okay. And I'm saying, I just read it, trying to read
Sure.
the contract and trying to.
It's a long
Little bit
contract.
over my head there. I just brought up some things that Brian, or the attorney, could help us to understand what we've been asked to do. That's the main thing I had on that one.
Is that similar to Homewood? I know they got.
Yes, that's correct.
They got a contract agreement with Homewood as well, so that has various other cities, but I think we referenced
Yes, that's correct.
their agreement kind of correcting ours, so.
I think it's one of the best things that we can do for this city, for ambulance to be right here under us and be ready to go at any second. And it's gonna cut our time down from Alabaster to here, or wherever they come, quite a bit. And I know, looking at the budget end of it, we're coming out for a plus going this way. I'm for it 100%.
It's very expensive to staff and run an ambulance, for a city to run a transport business. A lot of cities do it, and they're very successful at it, but I think this is the best fit for us.
And like we see in there, it's a fairly short term, so if something doesn't suit everybody's needs in the next 3 years, we have the option to go a different route. And we're just trying to really stretch the dollar and provide the best service possible.
Yeah. I mean, we're a rapidly growing city. Our call volume increases 7 or 8% a year, so, it'll be dynamic, and there'll be probably some adjustments we make along the way just to maintain adequate services, but we'll address that when we need to.
So I have a quick question. Will the ambulance be running each time we have an emergency call? Will that so it will shorten the time, or will they have to wait to be called?
No, so we'll work that out as far as, we may do some what we call selective dispatching, where they're not dispatched on every call. They're not anyway now. They're only dispatched on, they'll be dispatched on the same calls that they're currently dispatched on, but they're here in town, they'll be closer anyway, so that'll reduce response times. So, but there are some things that we can do as far as our guys getting on scene, making a quick assessment. They can cancel the truck as soon as they need to and get it back in service for another call. So there will be a few changes that are different than what we're doing now, but it'll still be the same basic model. And the Calera Fire Department will still be the primary care provider. You know, the contract is for transport services only. You know, and our guys are licensed paramedics, just like the guys on the ambulance, so we'll still be the primary provider, and then we will relinquish care of the patient to the ambulance staff, just like we do now.
We got a few minutes. I know Dennis is in here. Y'all have anything to brief us on with Main Street?
I can get some update on some of the upcoming
Okay.
events. So first, I want to invite everybody this Saturday for the Clara Main Street Adult Prom. So get your dancing shoes on, anything from your Sunday best up to full formal attire. Gonna have a great evening. We've got a full dinner being provided as part of your ticket sales for that. So it's Momo's Cajun Eats. Our local food trucks come to many of our Main Street events and events downtown. Very popular Cajun dinner, as well as desserts from Creations Floor and more. So it'll be a great time with dancing, dinner for the evening. So that's this Saturday. We're using the Collectivist Event Center on Main Street. It's a little chilly to be outside, especially in formal dress. But invite all you guys to come. Check the Main Street page out for more event information on that one. And then also go ahead and mark your calendars for March 15th. That's going to be our next Calera Car Show. So I've got a lot of people that have been helping me out with that from the city and in the community. So it's going to be a great time, and people are already looking forward to it, registering cars. So again, DJ, fun, cars, trophies, just a great day. And then April starts our first Fridays in our summer fun series, and then we'll have a full printed out calendar for you guys here shortly as well. So everybody's been enjoying the playground. Today was a beautiful day. I saw lots of families out there enjoying it and having a great time together.
So what's the age?
It is various, so it depends on during the day, the time of the day. The
Oh, the
earlier
prom.
time.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, of the prom, 21 and up.
Okay.
Yep, 21 and up for the prom. So it's a full adult prom. High school kids have their prom in April. So this is the Calera Adult Prom, 21 and up. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
is there any updates on anything that's opening up, or do you have any information on that center just above Gannon Cove between Gannon and
By
Marvin's?
Marvin's, I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything from that guy?
Not a word.
I think he's looking for somebody to put a building up for him. So he's kind of stuck.
Do we have anything else that you can talk to us about?
I mean, you've got the 2 hotels going up right now, or you're about to have a 3rd hotel.
Yeah, I did, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I did hear from the third, the hotel that came first, but now they're the third one to come out of the ground. I heard that
Yes, there's-
last week that was moving forward.
Is that the one that's gonna be closer to Zappapine?
Next door,
Across the street? Okay,
next door, I think.
Next door.
So,
okay.
I did talk to the contractor, somebody,
Yeah.
I had a voicemail from the calling back.
They, I think, did they get their permit and stuff done? So they're soon to start.
Okay.
There's really, the gas station on 42 and 70, they're about to start. Mill Point, that subdivision over by the sewer treatment plant, they're started clearing trees and stuff over there, so.
How many homes is going in there?
Gosh,
Do you
I
remember?
couldn't tell you off the top of my
Can't
head.
tell
Yeah, I can find out for you.
Okay.
Mayor's abatement for that new motel that's coming by Zappapine. Are we still on that?
The time frame expired, so.
So can you, do downtown on Main Street, where are we as far as moving into the next phase? Is there any information or that you can give on where we are, and where we are headed?
On phase 2 of Main Street,
Mhm.
so they're finishing up, my guys are finishing up the topo work on it. Hopefully finish, depending on time, but hopefully finish that up over the next week, 2 weeks or so, get some of that stuff in there. And then I'll work on the grading and drainage part of it, kind of layout to where you'll have some numbers to look at for the next budget. But you'll be limited. If you look at it now, you're going to be limited what you can do to where the gravel ends for what we did. From where that gravel ends all the way kind of behind Hardee's, that's still kind of protected for the bridge project. So really can't do a whole lot in there until definitely they clear all their environmentals and do all that and obviously we get final plans of where, footings and things are going to go in that nature. So it'll be kind of limited until, the bridge project probably takes a little bit of priority over that. But I'll have, at least numbers for the grading part, what little bit of asphalt and curbing and things like that. We all can talk about it for the next budget of what y'all want to do on that part. And you'll be limited on the 17th Avenue side too, since you can't shut that down. We'll have to match, you'll have to kind of match grades from one side to the next. So you'll have a fill slope that will take up some room, so you'll kind of be squeezed into a little bit of a smaller area for a little while on any type of planning and on the phase 2.
We've got a few minutes. At this time, I see Tyler here. You're going to present the winners of the Christmas parade. If you want to go ahead and do that. I hate to keep folks waiting. Maybe somebody wants to go home.
So first, I want to thank everybody who participated in this parade. Everybody who came out, everybody who volunteered. Without all y'all, there would be no parade, so I'd like to thank you. Now we'll get into our winners. Third place for this year's parade was Mark One Car Wash.
Can we get the picture?
Thank you. All right. So our second place winner goes to DC Smokehouse. That's right. All right. And our 2024 Calera Christmas Parade winner, Mr. Clint Horton and Polar Express. So he's not here, so I'll accept this on his behalf. Thank y'all.
Thank you for doing that, Tyler.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Hey Seth, can I ask you a question? Seth, can I ask you a question? Right here. What's going on?
God, imagine my wife, she's been pretty fed up with me all this week.
What about the playground equipment at Alder Park? Have you come up with anything on that yet?
At Alder Park, yeah, so it's the same group that's doing the shade as the playground. So as soon as they get done with that, then we're gonna go right over there to the playground. Right there. Right now, they're using, what the company's using that area over there right now?
Oh, yeah, Jordan Excavating is asked to use that area, what'd they say, to April? To be out there to April as a lay-down yard for the new water main. So they'll be in there for a little while.
Okay, that explains why the large equipment is over there.
That's it.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah, they said they'd be out there by April. That's just one section that they're putting in. They wanted to use that as a lay-down yard for the material and to do all their pipe welding. Then they'll be out there, so.
And then I need to follow up, but those gentlemen supposed to give me a price on a fence for the inside the football field where the policeman barricade. I need to follow back up with him. And then get another, Mr. Kennedale, I've emailed the art teacher twice. Haven't got a response for the rendering, so I guess I'm gonna try to go up there this week and actually talk to her, see if I get a response. Thank you.
When's the last time you've been over to George Lewis Park?
Wait just a minute.
I was out there a couple weeks ago.
Y'all doing this on purpose?
But have you noticed, the new little playhouse they built out there, a home that's built out there before? Out of sticks?
You never thought you'd have to do that, did you?
It's a new experience.
Yeah, the little house, yeah, that's kind of a running joke right now with the disc golf community over there by the first goal, yeah. We've seen that. Anyway, we're supposed to be putting a camera out there with the kids. We tore it down a couple times, somebody put it back up. But anyway, we're gonna put a camera out there and see what running joke, I mean, it's gotta be a joke. I mean, we're out there several times throughout the day.
I don't think nobody's living in it, I think it's.
I don't think anybody's living in it. Mr. Glenn that lives right across the street, that man patrols that park pretty darn, you can ask Miss Connie.
He called last week about something, and I emailed Sarah to take care of that.
Anyway, that is a little, I don't think it's the code. That house built the code over there, but yeah.
So don't take residents.
Stick out.
Mayor, since we have a couple more minutes, I'd just like to put it for you and the council to notice, Chief Hyde, on yesterday evening, I was at the University of Montevallo at the Center for the Arts. And as I come out, I talked with two people who are not from Calera. I think they reside here in Shelby County, they're not from Calera. And they said that, how things going over in Calera? We talked a few minutes, and they said, y'all have one awesome police department over there. And that chief y'all have over there, and they just went on giving all those accolades to you, Chief. I just want you to know that, and we're proud of what our police department does for our community.
Well, that's good, because I got a lot of complaints this week too, so it balances out.
And as I said,
Thank you, I appreciate
these people were not even from Calera, and that's when they're talking about Calera Police Department, so that's.
Well, we have an excellent staff. I do very little. They do all the work, and they're all really, really good. I'm very lucky to have such a good group around me. Thank you.
And council, if you've not gone to check out the new dispatch center, it's worth going, making a trip out there and seeing what they have done. It's great.
It's not quite finished yet. I was going to invite all of you We got a little bit more to go, but you snuck in and saw it without being invited. That's okay, I guess. No, I really, probably next city council meeting, I did want to invite all of you, maybe have a day set aside where you could all come see what the capabilities, and what's I'm so proud of is the future capabilities, the ability to grow with what we got there as technology changes. We've actually already had one upgrade to it since we put it in, so I'm very excited about that. Thank you.
When did they come and do the simulations training again?
We need role
We did that
players.
one time, and we had a good time watching each other in the line of duty.
Yeah, absolutely. Did y'all do the FATS machine or the things that actually hit you? The
We just
plastic
did it on the.
on the screen.
We did it on the
Yeah.
screen. I don't know if I can,
Stay away from that.
I don't want to take bullets at me.
Well, we've had some volunteers that, like, we do the school training in the summer that never come back again. It hurts. That FATS machine was brought to us by an outside agency, but we will let y'all know if we get it again.
We laughed and had a good time with that, didn't we? And we learned something.
Yeah.
Alan, would you open us up? Sure.
Let's pray. Father God, we come before you, just thank you for being with us in this meeting. Help us to make good decisions with the city and the citizens. And thank you for being with us every other day of the week. We call upon you, you're there, Father, we appreciate that. We ask, again, be with us through this meeting, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. James, before I get going, did you have anything? I'm sorry I left you out.
No, sir, not.
Okay. First on the agenda, we have the actual agenda. Do I hear a motion we approve on this agenda?
Make a motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll need to approve the minutes from our last regular meeting and work session that was on January 6th. Do I hear a motion to approve and dispense?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-05 is the Park and Rec surplus items. You got a list of those in your packet. Any discussion? None of the motion.
I make the motion for 2025-05.
Got a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-06 is the Public Works surplus items that were listed.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Motion and a second to approve that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This next item is a public hearing. It's Resolution 2025-01. At this time, I'll open the floor up if there's any comments or questions or concerns. It's about the salary for the mayor and council for the next term, which would begin November 1, 2025. So that will be a 4-year term. Currently, we're serving in an additional year. The legislature broke us out away from the presidential election cycle, it looks like. So we're sitting up here on our 5th year. November starts another term, and the council mayor pay increase is on the table. Any discussion from the public? Any discussion from the council? You have in your packet there some different options. If anybody has a option that they prefer, now's the time for us to talk about it. If if we come to a general consent, we can vote unanimous consent if you guys want to vote on this tonight. I think we have to have this in by, well, no later than the 26th, so.
Mayor, I'd like to go with option number one.
Any discussion on that from the rest of the council?
I agree with option number one as well. I personally am not in it for any money, and what we do get, I try to find ways to give it back to the community. So I feel like option number one is a better one for us.
Mayor, I like to consider option number 3. And the reason I'm being is, we're just looking at our past, this city's past history of increases that have not been one, I think, if the clerk can clarify, I think since 2007 or 8, am I right?
I don't think we've ever had an increase since 2008.
Only thing that we've gotten since '08 is just your cost of living.
Yeah, just because. And just compare, I noticed what some of our sister cities are also dealing with the same thing we're dealing with now, so I'd just like us to consider number 3.
Any other comments?
Also, I agree with option 3 as well.
Okay. Stacy sought out the pay from adjacent cities and cities our size, so that's where these numbers were formulated. And I feel like she's done good on providing you with numbers. It's here for your considerations.
You know, and as Deb was saying, you know, she's not here for the money or anything like that. The only thing about this is, it's not for us. This is for the next sitting council, whomever that may be, council and mayor. So it's not that we're making a decision on this based on that this council sitting here now will be the one receiving anything. So it's for the ones to come.
I understand that, but I would hope that they would have the same thoughts, that they're here to serve the community and not expect an absorbent amount of money, which this doesn't appear to be an absorbent amount of money. But I would challenge the new group to find ways to give their salary back to the community.
So you're saying that you're the next sitting council, whomever that may be, that they give their salary back to?
I would like for them to, and I would like for us, I would like to challenge you guys for the short term that we have left, is to find ways to give some back to the city. I want to be a good steward to the community, to the city, and find ways to help them.
But what make you think we don't do that already?
I don't know, I'm just saying, I just want to make sure, I would like for people to see that and not depend on it as a salary, if you will. And if you do it, that's great, I'm ecstatic about that.
It comes down to a small number, so. It's just a very small amount, you know, just food for thought. Anybody want
I'll put a motion on it for option
a
number 3.
motion first to vote? I need a motion for unanimous consent.
I'm going to move that we have a motion for the unanimous consent.
Got a motion for unanimous consent. Got a second from Ernest. All in favor of unanimous consent, say aye.
Aye.
This is just a vote. All in favor of unanimous consent, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So now we can move to take a vote, and we've heard option 3, we've heard option 1. Anybody else want to make a comment? We all know that any one of us could be not in this next round, so we'd have to, whoever is gonna be in this position has to be elected by the people. So we, need to make a motion one way or other. If you wanna have a discussion, now's the time. Anybody have anything?
Well, we had option 1 brought up, and option 3 brought up. We can compromise and go with 2.
Yes.
That's right, that's right, that's amendment, option 3.
Yes.
When somebody make a motion, whatever y'all want to do, you make a motion and get a second, and we move forward.
I'll make a motion to go with option 2.
I second.
Got a motion and a second for option number 2. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Motion carried. Going forward, it's option 2 for the pay. Resolution 2025-02. Is public records policy.
Do we have a policy now in place?
We do, the law had changed, and so everyone was, updating theirs, and our attorney has reviewed this, and he's ready for it to be adopted.
This kind of gives us a framework of how we deal with public records policy. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
That's good.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. Resolution 2025-03, it's bond renewal. It's Shelby Chilton County right of way. This is something that the state requires us, and it requires us to have on file. There were so many years, I don't know how often it is, but we've had to do this before. It's just public right of way bond renewal for Amic. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion?
I second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise. Resolution 2025-04 is the agreement for ambulance services, allowing us to go into a contract with RPS. It's on the table, and Chief told us the building lease will come in the next meeting. We just didn't get it all. Brian was tweaking it a little bit, so we'll have that for you in the next meeting, which is a really good option for the city for use of that facility. It keeps ambulances parked here and running hopefully Calera first.
Right. Brings another business to the city.
Priority. So,
I move to adopt.
I second.
04.
got a motion and a second for adoption. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. So we got that covered. That's exciting. So we'll bring that building ramp back to you next time. This is a public hearing for ordinance 2025-01. It's an annexation request. And I do need unanimous consent if we decide to move on this tonight. We have Bill and Ann Davis on the agenda to annex parcel of land up, I guess in the limestone area, but it's off 42. This does touch current city limits, so as a crow flies, it's not far from Zapopan, is it? Any discussion from the public? This is, from the floor, this is a public hearing. Now's your time to scream and shout and tell Bill how you don't want him in the city if that's the time to do it. You built the house up there, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
He's gonna reside there. We can't let him slip away. Can't have him in the county, we gotta have him in the city, so.
Gotta be on that park board.
That's right. Anyway, anybody from the public, it's a public hearing. Any questions or comments? If not, any comments from the council, questions on this annexation? And you'll have to come back and get zoning. You'll annex it in as a municipal reserve, and then you'll come back to your final zoning.
We're talking, how many acreage?
23.
23 acres.
23 acres. Anybody want to make the motion for unanimous consent?
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Got a motion and a second for unanimous consent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And need a motion to adopt.
I move. I second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. You just can't go out. You can't reverse it. Resolution 2025-07 is the grant, DOJ grant for the police purchase of your utility vehicle. Any discussion on that? If not, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-08 is the vehicle for the case. And you have information in your packet on that, purchase a new vehicle for,
Was that the actual, look at that vehicle, chief? That's,
I'm sorry.
was that photo of that vehicle, that's the actual?
Did we give you a rendering of the case emblem? Yeah, that's
that's the real
it.
thing?
Yeah, we want,
That's nice.
yeah, we want something the kids will, it'll label the case program and brand it, and kids will get excited about it. And it would be used, by our case, the director, exclusively for case. And I was asked a question earlier, the funds would come from the opioid settlement, and I spoke with Kelly earlier, and Kelly had a good idea. I've been speaking verbally to the AG's office about the expenditures we've made so far with case, just to make sure that we're within the guidelines for the Attorney General, and we are, but I'm putting together a letter to send to the Attorney General's office that's going to outline everything we've spent so far and what we plan to spend, just so we have a paper trail, which I think was an excellent idea by Kelly. And so before we would spend the money, we would get back in writing that we're in good standing with what we're spending it on. I don't think they will question that at all. I think what we're spending on, we're being very good stewards of their funds, and this is right in the spirit of what they wanted to do with the opioid lawsuit settlement money.
That's good. And it blends very well with the trucks.
And it's something else that'll be uniquely Calera as well, and I like that. And the kids are getting behind it. I don't think I mentioned this, when we do our Students of the Month, we give them a case backpack for the younger ones. We have different things that we bought with opioid money that have the branding of case that we give the kids. And the little ones are really, really proud of it. It's a little different when the kids are older. We have to do different things for elementary, intermediate, middle, and high school. But I think it's been a great thing. Some of those smaller kids are really excited when they've maybe helped a kid that was bullied, or they've done something, been a good student, a good steward, showed leadership when we recognize them and put their picture, with the police officer. I think, especially at the young age, that's going to have an impression on those young people.
So I hear a motion to approve that vehicle.
I make a motion.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-09, traffic control signal at 70 and 42, this is what we added. It came late to us, thank you for bringing that to us, Bill. Something we need to not drag our feet on, we need that red light at the intersection. This is a maintenance agreement that we have to have in place, so if and when the red light gets put up, we do plan on maintaining it.
Is there some lane changes with that program? Is there gonna be a center turn
Eventually, when the,
or a side, a right?
I think there's already a center turn lane there, is there not, turning
I think
into,
it gets a wide.
2 lanes.
I think there's a center turn lane to get into Kensington, right? For left turn?
I think so.
Yeah, I think there's a left turn already there. I think the striping should remain the same. When we submit the final design for that, they won't be shy about speaking up if they want striping change, so.
And then the convenience store, do they add?
There's some change on 42.
Yeah,
up
they've got turn lanes on both. They've got a turn lane, well, I think they're extending that turn lane off of 70 back a little bit, and then I think they've got a turn lane off of 42, I believe, if I'm
You'll
correct.
be able to enter the convenience store from either roadway.
So coming off 70, if I remember correctly, that drive is right turn only. I don't think you'll be able to turn left off of 70. You'll have to turn on 42, and then if you want to come in from that way. So coming from Columbiana, you'll have to turn on 42 and into the gas station on 42. I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Anybody want to make a motion on that resolution?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's all I have on my agenda. We had a name on the sign-in. Did somebody want to speak to us? I couldn't read the name.
Good evening, my name is Bruce Kincaid, I live at 967 McAllister Drive. Got a question for you. I continue to drive up and down George Roy Parkway and see that the fire station still has the same damage that it has been for, what, a year, 2 years, 2.5 years? And, you know, to protect our property for the city, you know, with rain and everything that's coming around. I'd like to find out what's the proposal on repairing that building. And also, since y'all had a high-speed chase coming through that area, I do know that that lady was real concerned, or whoever is living in that house, on that little ramp-up ditch going into the other subdivision. I think it's Daventry or something. You know, that guardrail is now sitting there, and the question is how soon will that be repaired? Thank you.
What,
We've already reached out to Alabama Guardrail about replacing that section of guardrail. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I checked with police, that individual had no insurance, so I don't think there's any way to get any money out of that. But, so we'll.
The lady who hit the building, we're working with her insurance company to get those repairs made.
I thought the bridge was
Yeah, the brickwork is underway. They're ordered to break down?
Yes.
Yeah. But those repairs should be done soon.
And just for the record, that was not a Calera high-speed chase. That was initiated by Shelby County. We didn't get involved until the guy was on foot.
That's all I have on my agenda.